Oh, what's up, guys? It's your boys, Ever Providence, back at again with another YouTube review. Um, Continuing on with our movie marathon, we'll be talking about Friday the 13th, the 2009 remake. Um, yeah, and let's dive into it. So, as stated, it was released 2009. I like the opening scene of the film because it's like a homage to the basically the first movie, but it kind of does like the whole scene in like black and white. So it's like kind of paying homage to both, like, I guess kind of the time era of when it came out, but then also just like the movie in itself. And then the transition from black and white to colored was really cool. And like I just like how like the whole like intro scene is just like a short retelling of what happened in the first movie, or what happened in the original first movie, which I really liked. And then they kind of bait us out at the beginning of the film by introducing us to a bunch of characters that like we kind of think might be the main characters of this film. And so the opening group of friends were like they had like a cool dynamic going on, and like they had like actual chemistry as friends. So seeing them get like mercilessly murked by Jason was just it kind of sucked, especially with like what we'll be talking about later on. But as like an opening scene to show off like what this Jason is all about and what he's gonna do, it really delivered, and I really appreciate that. That's probably like my favorite scene of this film from Jason out of like the whole thing, aside from one other scene towards like the latter half of the movie. As I was saying though, Jason is like a menace in this film. Like in the prior films, he's like he's still a menace, and he's just a straight killer, and he'll like go after you straight. But like Jason in this one is like it's more of a realistic take on him, which I think is like kind of scarier than like regular Jason. Like I think the like him being like supernatural and stuff is cool, and that's what I like about Jason. Just like this relentless, not zombie, but basically zombie that won't stop until like you can put him to rest, but he'll always keep coming back no matter what. And I just think like that's the biggest appeal behind Jason, aside from like his outfit, which I think is so like cool and iconic for me personally at least. But yeah, this like realistic take on Jason was like really cool, and I like to see it because like I was saying, like the supernatural aspects of him are cool, but this like realistic take on it makes it like all the more scary because like what if someone were to be like a Jason or some shit, you know? And it's just like it was just like making my mind spin and think about it. And like the way he's like both efficient and like kind of cerebral with like how he's killing people and stuff was just really cool to see. Really cool to see. And then I love his new design. I feel like there was one scene where they didn't really need like to show us how he looked under the mask, but I suppose that people who might care about like that were interested in. But like aside from that, like his design throughout this the start of the film to the end was really nice to see. And I like how they give you context and a shot to show how he gets his iconic mask, which I really like. Like yeah, and then I like I was saying, like I love his design, and I love like the realistic approach they took with him, because it's really cool to see. Um, as opposed to like some of the other films I've been talking about, the music choices in this film were not it. Like they just like, and it felt like so out of place for this movie, because like if it was like for like a scene transition, or like when the characters would go from one location to another, they play like random ass songs. It's like this song kind of has nothing to do with what like we're like, you know, like, and like based off of what the scene is talking about, and then based off like the characters, at least as far as like I was concerned, this it did not seem like music they would listen to. So it's like This doesn't seem like radio music. So if this is like a scene transition music, then it's not good either. And I was just so confused as like why they would do that. Like I feel like, and then like for horror films, of course you could do that, especially like if you're like, because mind you, the music choices were like towards the beginning of the film, so we weren't really like into like the horror-y aspects. We were just into like developing the characters and kind and shit. But like even then, this didn't feel like a movie where you needed to do that or where it should like or it was warranted. And yeah, I just thought like the music choices were not it. But speaking of scenes establishing characters and all that, I thought that Chewie and Nolan, like these two best friend characters, it's this black guy and then an Asian guy. I thought they had like a good dynamic going on with each other, and like I really bought that they were like best friends and shit, you know. And then especially towards like later on in the movie when they end up dying, I believed 100% that Nolan, who would go, I bought him like his kind of reason for leaving the group, because like in most horror films, the characters leave just because they leave. Which we, there is a scene in this movie where they do exactly that, and I was like, why did she leave? Why did she leave? And then ended up she ended up dying for it. So I'm like, you deserved it. You honestly deserved it. But yeah, like when Nolan goes out to go look for Chewie after Chewie gets killed, it's like I understand your reasoning, because if it was me and my best friend was out there or some shit, I'm gonna go out there and go get my boy. I'm gonna go make sure he's alright so that me and him can survive through this killer trying to kill us, you know? And so, like, I just thought their dynamic was good, and I thought, like, the reasoning for Nolan leaving the group made sense, and I liked that. They had, like, not only a reason for him to leave, but they have built up us to believably, like, think and ration with him leaving the group. And then Clay, who is the secondary, no, I guess he would be the main character of the group. Clay, the main character of the story, basically, aside from the friend group we're introduced to at the start. It's pretty cool. I like how he is. His whole story is just like him trying to find his sister, and then he ends up getting kind of intertwined with those whole with this whole Jason murder spree going on, because we find out that Jason, you know, like had something to do with his sister. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, it was just cool to see, and I thought Clay was like a cool, reasonable character, and so I liked him. But aside from like them, all the other characters like suck, or like they had like non-existent characters. Like I forgot what the one of the girls' name was, but like there's like the stereotypical rich jock dude who's just like an asshole for no reason. Like, of course we can have asshole characters, but like if we give them actual character besides just I'm an asshole, it could work. But they didn't do that, and so I felt like it didn't work for him, and I didn't really like him at all. On top of him already being an asshole, which just made him not tolerable. Then we had like the actual stereotypical jock dude in this film, who like got killed in one of the best ways possible, because like it should just showed like how like Jason has always been like this kind of resourceful character where he'll use like anything to kill people. But I like how like, at least especially with this scene, and how they end up killing the stereotypical jock character. He used like a bow and arrow. I thought that was really cool. And then that jock dude's oh wait, no. There's more than, there's like three female characters. Never mind. See, and then that's the thing. The jock dude's girlfriend, I genuinely mixed up with another character, because their characters is blended together. That's how like shit they were. The jock's girlfriend, she dies in an cool way, kind of like sus, not sus, was kind of weird. The kind of way they like, like they did it for fucking a nudity shot or whatever, but it was still like regardless of that, it was still cool to see the kill. And then the girl that I just got her confused with, she's the one who leaves the group later on in the film. And it's like, why? Why would you do that? Like, I know she's having like a mental breakdown kind of because of all this traumatic shit going on, but it's like, just stay with the group. Like, if anything, you have more chances of survival if you stay with the group because, realistically speaking, obviously numbers advantage against Jason, but also at that point, if Jason's going after one of the other characters, that's one body put between you and him, And if there's like a whole group of you, that's multiple bodies. If you're being smart about it, put between you and him, and then you could end up getting away. But I digress. And then I loved what is it? I think his name is Jesse. Jesse's the rich jock dude I was talking about earlier. I think that's his name. I could be wrong, but I think that's his name, Jesse. He gets killed, and I loved it because I hated his character, and he was an asshole, and I was waiting this whole film to see him die. I think honestly that's kind of like his purpose, but like it was still like obvious that was his purpose. But like I was so happy to see him die, and his death was worth it. I felt like they did good for his death. And then yeah, that's basically it. Oh, and then Jenna, who is like this nice uh girl. Her actress is the same actress who plays Killer Frost / Caitlin Snow in The Flash, like the CW series. Um, she like her character I really like because she's like a nice, meek kind of nerdy girl or whatever, who's dating the asshole-ish jock rich guy because she's trying to see like she sees good in him even though there really isn't any good in him. And like I don't know, I just like how like she was like very nice to Clay, especially with the fact that Clay was trying to find her or his uh sister, and how she was like very like helpful and understanding of his problems, and like comparatively to like Jesse, who was like rude and assholeish to Clay for no reason about the whole situation. She was just nice, and I just like her character. And then her being like kind of like the false final girl was really cool to see because when Clay ends up uh Clay, spoiler alert, but his sister, who they end up finding, and Jenna, all like are basically the last characters. They kind of like built Jenna up as being like potentially the final girl, but then she ends up getting killed, and it's like, oh shit. And at that point you kind of think like, well, anyone could be killed because she was like kind of like the false final girl. So you're like, oh shit, they were misleading me this whole time. And at this point, anyone could be killed or anyone could die at this point. And I thought that was really cool. And also, like throughout this movie, they really showed like how smart Jason was. Like he had like this whole underground bunker system, and he had like these wires that like had bells on them. So like if someone tripped over them, he would know where they were, or if they were like in his home or anything, or in his territory. And I just thought like they really like did showing how smart he was, and I really like that. And he's still resourceful. He's just like straight like he's using all these different weapons, all these different ways. Like I think every person died differently, which I really really liked, with a different method of weapon for the most part. There's like one or two repeats of weapons, and then that's just with like Jason's classic machete. So I'm not gonna hold that against the film or anything. But yeah, I just really like this Jason. I really like this incarnation of Jason. He's smart, resourceful, and like He's like a realistic approach to Jason, which I really like. And like despite him like being this newer, more realistic take on Jason, he still has like his cool kills that he always has in his films, and then like his playful like body setup where he like he'll hang people upside down or in like weird ways to throw off the characters and scare them and stuff. And I appreciated that they kept that aspect of Jason in this film. And yeah, like this film was, aside from like the characters being kind of like your base average horror characters that like everyone moans and groans about all the time, aside from like four standout characters being Chewie, Nolan, Clay, and Jenna. Uh, I thought this film was pretty solid. Pretty solid film. Not one of my favorites. Was kind of hoping it would be because I am a Jason fan. As you can see, I have the Friday the 13th shirt on. So yeah, and he's my favorite horror icon. But solid film regardless. I give it like a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. Solid film. And yeah, with that out of the way, done with the review. See you guys in the next video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll leave my socials at the end of the video. And with that out of the way, peace. Stay pimpin', pimps.